Hello, it is Krystalracquel and I am back again today with another video. What I want to talk about today is the situation that is in the news right now regarding Tyler Perry's comments about the situation of Black women and Black men. He made some comments surrounding the situation of Black men. He mentioned that what's happening is that Black women are very successful, more so than Black men, in terms of jobs, careers, finances. That was the gist of what he said. And what he added on was that it's not all about the money. The woman can go ahead and take care of that man, in a sense, is what he was saying, but his words were somewhere along the lines of, it's not about money. If the man can pay the light bill, I think he mentioned, or take you on a date now and again. If there's love, that's all that really matters. If he's going to love you, that is okay. If you are pretty much the breadwinner. And I know nowadays things are a lot different than they were in the past. There are women and men who come together and the woman is the one providing for the home. I find that when people talk about it, they're speaking from their own place. They're speaking from their own heart and their own situation. So there may be men who may say, yeah, that's completely fine. There may be women who may say that's completely fine if the woman is, taking care of all the bills in the home. That video will probably come out at a later time because that's not the purpose of this video, but I will just say in regarding that, my belief is that sure, for a short period of time, that's okay. Simply because men and women are built differently. They were created differently by our Creator in heaven. And there's a reason why he created the roles that he did. There is a reason. Sure, the man can stay at home for a certain time. Let's say he's unemployed or he lost his job. And the woman now has to hold it down. There's just something that women have in terms of being nurturers. Most women who are, not, that's how we were designed. I'm not saying every woman is like that. Women may have experienced past traumas or may have something mentally wrong, or they may be unstable, or they may just be going through something. But for the most part, based on creation, how we were created, we are different and there are different roles there. So I'm not saying women can never be in that role, because of course you're married to someone and things happen and you are the helpmeet. So you are going, if you're working and your husband loses his job, you're going to continue working. You're not going to now say, hey, I'm making more than you, or hey, I'm working and you're not, especially when he's trying to find a job. But back to Tyler Perry's comments, I will say that yes, that is true that Black women are in a space to where a lot of them are very successful, and the Black men in general are, as a whole, are not doing as well in terms of career status as Black women, everyday people. However, I will say that there's two main things I want to point out. I'm actually going to pull up scripture for the second part. The first part that I want to comment on is, I find it very interesting that that's being stated. However, the first thing that popped in my mind was a lot of Black men, when what we see in the media, what we see in our lives, a lot of Black men, when they have a lot of money, they don't limit their relationship to a Black woman. They are now in a different social sphere, and they are in an area where they're making a lot of money. And in terms of the United States, in terms of who has the most power, usually when you're like in the corporate world or in the business world, and if you're high up on the what is it called, if you're high up in terms of your role and your status, you will most likely be around a lot of people who are white or Caucasian, just because that's usually who's in a lot of the higher positions, especially depending on where you live as well. If you're somewhere like Atlanta, that may be completely different, or maybe the same, I don't know. But so a lot of times those men, black men, when they're in those roles, they have a lot of different people around them. So let's say black women are in that sphere in terms of their career, their job, they don't see a lot of black women. They're not going to typically limit themselves and go say, hey, you know, I know this is my environment now, or, you know, maybe this was, I was raised around this environment, and, you know, now I'm doing well. So rather than looking at these nice ladies, you know, who are in front of me, I want to go back and I'm going to go try to find someone of my race, because that's what I think is right. And, you know, that's typically is not what I see and what a lot of people don't see. However, when black women, perhaps there's a lot of black successful women, what you do find is kind of what Tyler Perry was describing. A lot of black women, they are interested in having a black man. They would like to have a black man. And honestly, black women are the group of women that are have the lowest statistic of marriage. And typically black women, they're seeking, when whatever position they are in life, they typically want a black man. However, I believe that situation would need to be addressed. I'm not saying anything is wrong with, you know, black men if they're dating women who are in their surroundings once they make a lot of money. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, if it's right or wrong. However, if these black women are also successful, regardless of what they want, they most likely have access to, if they're making a lot of money, highly successful, they may be in the corporate world, and the corporate world, there's a lot of white people in the corporate world. So my point is, can those black women now be open to people who are of a different racial group? And if not, why? I just didn't like the way I felt after that, because that was the first thing that came to my mind. Like, hey, you know, no race is better than any race, because we are all children of God. But my point was, if black men, when they have all these finances, are going to date the women that are around them who may also be successful, it could be black women around as well. Honestly, it's more likely to have black women in that sphere than it is to probably have black men in the sphere of successful black women. But if it's okay for those black women to date other women of that race, which of course you are free to, then I just didn't like the way it was presented. To me, it was presented as if that woman who is black should, I took it two ways, because yes, I completely understand that it's not about all money. It is about the character of a person, and love matters. But when you are seeking to find someone for marriage, it's not just love. You're looking at their values, their core beliefs. You're looking at their background, their history. You're looking at, do they love the Lord? You're looking at all those things, and also looking at the role. So is this man going to be a protector and provider? Is this woman going to be a nurturer, a helpmeet, you know, be able to work with a man and, you know, walk with him? Those things are very important. I just didn't agree with that, because I felt like the same way people are going to want to date people in their atmosphere who they're around, I believe that that's very limiting for black women when they're successful and there's other people who are around them now, that they are not able to date those people, because as we're aware, black women are the least likely to get married. So I just feel like they're limiting themselves even more if they now can only limit themselves to that group. And no group is better than another. But if we're saying that, black men are, not making that much money, and that's not that important, it's all about, loving God and having character, but also being ambitious. And, I don't want to comment too much on it, but there's a reason why things are the way that they are, right? There's a reason why this group of black men in the United States is at this position. There's a reason. So it's not like it's not even like it's blame on them for the most part. Well, we can't say all the blame is on them. There's a reason. But my point is, there's no reason why women should not be limited to that. It doesn't make sense. Why should they be limited? The same way every woman wants to have a stable family, and we would hope men want to have a stable family as well. They're the protectors and providers. It's, women should be able to, if they're very successful, I believe the man is the protector and the provider, so that's okay. If a woman's successful, she wants a successful man. There's nothing wrong with that. And just in terms of the way things are, right? Like if the man is the head, the woman's here, with her finances and everything. And of course the woman can help the man, and the woman usually helps the man and raises him up to a different position anyway, just based on the nature of women and us being the helpmeet. But it wouldn't be right that the women have to now, I would say, settle, not based on race, but settle for men who are only paying the light bill and she's footing all the bills. And it's not to say it's nothing about, hey, we're equal. No, it's based on scripture, and that's what I want to get into. Not specifically, it's not going to be specific, but I'm going to explain where I'm coming from. So there's just two I want to talk about. There's 1 Timothy 5:8. But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. That's talking about men specifically. So if a man is not providing for his home, that is looked at as horrible. I see this as you have to do what you have to do as a man to provide for your family. And providing, people say it doesn't have to do with finances anymore. It is finances. You are bringing security to your family and your woman. Yes, nowadays women can work, men are working, they're both working, they're all in the workplace together. That makes things a little bit different. However, you need to provide for your family, and part of that provision includes caring financially for your family. Yes, if you fall in love with someone, you make more than them as a woman. Not saying that that's wrong at all. What I am saying is that man needs to do what he can do to provide as best he can. So that means he's going to be paying bills, and not just the light bill. Absolutely not. Unless he's unemployed, receiving unemployment, or starting a, that's something I don't like either. Just trying to start a business now because you've gotten married. Yes, a lot of people start businesses together, but when I'm saying starting a business, I mean, all right, I have a woman now, so now what I wanted to do before, I can do it now because now I have her income. I don't like that. I don't think that that is appropriate. I think a man should be striving for his dreams. Of course, if the woman's encouraging, like, baby, go for your dream, like, you can do it, that's one thing. But when a man is like trying to sit back and kind of be lazy, not really doing much, there's a way you can be starting your dream and still be working a job on the side. As a man, you need to uphold your responsibilities. So that's what came to me in terms of the whole Tyler Perry situation, because the man is the provider. He's the head provider. He's the head of the household. So with that comes a lot. And I believe if now the woman is working so hard, stressed out, now the baby has to go to childcare, because the mom has to work and the husband's working, but he's like more laid back. They're both working 40 hours a week, and then he comes home and, she's cleaning the house, she's doing everything. And of course things can be different. Maybe the husband's helping with the chores as well, I don't know. But she comes home, she's cleaning, she's cooking, and he comes home, he's so tired from the day just because the man is built differently. He's so tired, he just wants to relax, he doesn't want to focus on anything in the home. And he figures, hey, I have a wife, she likes to do those things, she can handle it. It's just not going to work out in that way, because if the woman's getting so stressed with work, she's not caring for the kids. And, you know, she is the best one to care for those children. And of course, there's nothing wrong with childcare. You can definitely put your kids in childcare. But I'm just saying, if it's coming to the point where she's so stressed out, that's not going to be good for the family. She's not going to have a lot of energy to put into the family. She won't. I know I even saw growing up with my mom, for not saying she didn't put anything into our family, she 100% did, but I saw how she worked, and, you know, luckily we had our paternal grandmother in the home with us. She was always there with us, but she worked a lot, and then she also had to cook. She also cleaned. She did a lot. So I can certainly see how a woman is not going to be able to do everything, or if she's doing everything, she won't be able to do it for long. Well, right? Something's gonna fall through the cracks. She may, you know, now she may not be cleaning as well as she would have had she not had to work so hard, or had she not had to do all the chores in the house, or maybe she's not able to cook and she's ordering out every day for the family, and that's not so healthy. So just all these things add up. Whereas what I wanted to bring it home with in terms of a Tyler Perry situation is, why can't that man get another job? That's my point. That's what I want to know. Because if he's making so little money that he can only pay a light bill and take you on some dates, what is he doing? What type of job is he doing? There's so many jobs out here. That's why it's important to, I think the main thing that's going on too is in terms of education. Not everybody goes to school. However, I don't think that there's as many black men who are finishing their education. But let's say that's something that needs to be dealt with, of course. But, you know, when you're starting a family, I don't think that's the point now where you want to go to medical school. When you currently have a high school diploma, you need to figure something out to care for your family. You know, that ship has kind of sailed. No one get mad at me for that, but just in terms of the responsibility of a man, you decide you want to take on a wife, so now let's do that. You know, maybe if you had already graduated college or something like that, and now you want to go to medical school, that's a little bit different. But to be put in all those years, or maybe have your GD, and now you have a wife, she's working, paying for all the bills, you're impregnating her, she has several kids by you, now she's working and putting you through school, which is like, how many years? Like another 8 years of school. That's not fair, and that's not her role. Of course, everyone's situation is different. And so yeah, I just think the man, he should be able to go get another job to be able to bring some more income in. It's completely different if maybe, let's say, she's a millionaire. But in terms of like just everyday people, yeah, I find something wrong with that. It's not okay. And then the last scripture that I wanted to talk about is what was in Genesis, and I have my Bible for that. So this is in terms of Genesis, when Adam and Eve had a bite of the fruit of knowledge. So the Lord said to the woman, he said, this is Genesis 3:16 is the part about the woman, and then it goes all the way through verse 29 for the man. So starting at 16, Genesis 3:16, to the woman he said, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. So that was what he said. That's her role. That's what's going to happen to her. So we all see a lot of times we have painful births. And basically he was just saying that you're going to have painful labor, and your focus is going to be on your husband, and your husband's going to be your head. That's pretty much what he's saying. That's what's going to happen. Notice he didn't say anything about you laboring or working. Not saying anything is wrong with women working, but there's an extent. The work that a woman does shouldn't be so much to where she's just constantly stressed, unable to give herself to her family. Not saying your desires, you can't fulfill any of your desires in your career as a woman. However, that's why you need to find the right person for you, because your desires should kind of match up with the husband that you end up with. Because honestly, when you are married, if you're desires don't align, if they're completely different, something's gonna have to give. And most likely it's, since the man is the head, you kind of know how that goes. Not every time, but you know, if you marry somebody, let's say you want to be a missionary and that's not the calling for your husband, there's a possibility you won't be able to be a missionary, because how is that going to work? How are you going to be a missionary somewhere? And then, you know, you're pregnant, you're going on mission trips, your husband's nowhere to be found. So, you know, things like that matter. And then for Adam, and this one starts in Genesis 3:17. To Adam he said, because you listened to your wife and ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. And that ended on verse 19. Okay, so you see how it's talking about men are supposed to work hard just based on, you know, what happened in that garden. You know, we like to act like women and men are equal. They're equal in terms of we both matter. However, our roles are not the same. Man, even though he's working hard, he can handle that. What I see a lot, just look around you, you'll see it. Women and men, they'll be around the same age, maybe a couple years difference. Maybe the man might be a little older by a couple years, or they might be about the same age, or maybe the woman is maybe older by 1 or 2 years. If those women worked hard, also raised their families, and the man worked hard and he played with his kids and all that stuff, when the woman works and also does everything else, you will notice how much older she looks than that man. Just look around you. That woman is looking so old. And no disrespect, but that's what I've seen. Like when the woman has to work so hard, going into board meetings every day, she's doing all this, doing all that, and she's also coming home, she has to do everything in the home. That doesn't usually work. In those situations, what I think would work is if the woman, maybe she works hard, but then they have someone take care of the kids. They have somebody who cooks for them, cleans, those type of stuff. It can work, but otherwise it's just too much stress on the woman. But the man, he's built to work hard and stuff like that, and he doesn't have to deal with all the things in the home a lot of times, if he's working so hard, right? If he's getting all that stress, he's a doctor, lawyer, those types of things, whatever his career is, he's typically not doing all that stuff at the home. But hopefully you let me know what you think about what I have to say, because this is just how I feel about it. And everyone is equal in terms of race. No one is better than the other, but I just felt that was kind of off, just in terms of what the Bible says in terms of our roles. So no, it is not acceptable for the man to just pay a light bill and be at home and give you a couple dates as a man. That's not his role. His role is to provide for his household. If he has to get a second job, so be it, and not to where he's gonna be stressed, but I know people who work 2 jobs. My younger sister has worked 2 jobs for a long time. So if a woman can do it, I see a lot of women doing it, while they're waiting, while they're trying to save for their life, and they hopefully can find a husband. Why can't a man do it? There's no need for any of this laziness going on. Men are built to work, and they're built to be strong, provide, and we have to encourage that. We can't make it seem like men are so soft and they can't do it, they can't handle it. They can, and it's not our job as women to coddle them and try to take the reins on those things. So hopefully you have a blessed day, and I will be back again tomorrow. Bye. Let me know what you think.